Hello, church, and welcome to episode 15? 14. I think it's episode 14 of our Voices and Stories series. We've been filming these all outside, and I'm sitting outside, but it rained, so I'm a little scared to be too far outside, so then I'm wearing a summery shirt to make myself feel better about the rain. And anyways, excited that you are joining us for today's episode. If you haven't already, make sure to hit up all the previous episodes because we've got some pretty amazing stories from people across the life of our church. Especially in this season as we've been disconnected, it's a great time to remind ourselves of what we are a part of and who is a part of it with us. Today we're going to hear from Becker, who lives in the city of Kelowna, and I'm excited for that. Don't forget, this coming Sunday is a gathering Sunday, which we highly encourage you to take opportunity to gather. I know as you're in the interior region, there's some restrictions that are going to affect us coming immediately and coming afterwards tomorrow. So this is a great time to prioritize and take advantage of gathering together. Well, let's head over to that story now.
You like you, Lord. All the glory, all the praise, all the worship, Jesus. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing. There's nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you.
Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey, I'm Jeremy. I live in Kelowna. I'm part of the C3 family. I'm super excited to be part of our Voices and Stories series this summer. I don't know if you're anything like me, but it's been a long year, month, summer, 2 years, 18 months, I don't know at this point. It's been a long, enduring process. And you know, the beginning, I remember March of last year when COVID first really hit Canada and BC went into our first phase of lockdowns. The whole conversation was 2 weeks. You know, 2 weeks, flatten the curve. Both are words I haven't heard in a really long time. And I remember thinking to myself, 2 weeks, this is super bizarre, this is super odd, but we can make it work. You know, we can brute force it, we can get through 2 weeks, and we'll be back. A short 18 months later, the 2 weeks feels like it's expanded, and I just never got out of that phase. I kept living in this, I'm gonna just survive and exist and like just get through each day. For me, my last year was actually really busy. I didn't have a lot of time at home doing nothing. I've worked from home for many years at this point, and my work kept going. It never stopped, and it actually just piled on more because more things were happening. And so I never took the time to pause and reflect. And this past summer, I finally had a little bit of time off. A couple of the projects I was working on just created space in my life, and it's something I haven't actually experienced in probably 6 or 7 years of not having something actively that I'm trying to do every day. And that was the first time I like reflected, and I was like, wow, I don't know what to do. And I realized God, there has to be more to life than trying to just get through each day, just trying to exist, just trying to endure and persevere. I'm like, God, there's got to be more to this. Surprise, surprise, there is. Spoiler alert, Jesus created more opportunity. I want to read a little bit in Psalms 1. I'm going to read out the new, the Passion Translation. And in Psalms 1:1 it says, "What delight comes to the one who follows God's ways? He won't walk in step with the wicked, nor share the sinner's way, nor be found sitting in the scorner's seat. His pleasure and passion is remaining true to the word of I am, meditating day and night in true revelation of light. He will be standing firm like a flourishing tree planted by God's design, deeply rooted by the brooks of bliss, bearing fruit in every season of his life. He is never dry, never fainting, ever blessed, ever prosperous. But how different are the wicked? All they are is dust in the wind, driven away to destruction. The wicked will not endure the day of judgment, for God will not defend them. Nothing they do will succeed or endure for long, for they have no part with those who walk in truth. But how different it is for the righteous. The Lord embraces their paths as they move forward, while the way of the wicked leads only to doom." I found that verse remarkably encouraging and challenging, and it made me wonder, am I walking in the ways of the Lord? Because when you read about the doom part, you're like, I want to make sure the bliss, I like that side. Let's make sure we're there. There's a few things I really want to pull out of here. So this said to me, God was like, Jeremy, life is more than just enduring to the next day. So I want to pull this out in verse 3. He said, "He will be standing firm like a flourishing tree planted by God's design." What I found just incredibly inspiring about that is, you're positioned by design, by the greatest strategist in the universe. When Adam and Eve sinned in the garden, God wasn't caught off guard and said, oh boy, what am I going to do? He had a plan. He had a strategy that took endless generations to come through for freedom for everybody. That same strategist has positioned you by design. Deeply rooted by the brooks of bliss. See, there's no accidents in Jesus. There's no accidents in God. deeply rooted by the brooks of bliss. What I love about this like simile and this imagery is this isn't a tree on the beach by a raving ocean. This isn't in a tsunami zone. This isn't, you know, by a pond of still water where it's just stagnant. This is deeply rooted by the brooks of bliss, a calm. When I think of brooks and like just the imagery of it, I think of like a babbling brook, and I think of frogs for some reason. But what's also beautiful here is the water that the trees get actually comes through the roots in the ground, and it doesn't come through the fruit. Your bliss doesn't come out of your fruit. It comes out of where you're positioned, where you're rooted. And that's why in the next part of this verse, he says, bearing fruit in every season of his life. Because your bliss comes from your foundations and from your roots and not from your fruit, you can bear fruit in every season, not the pre-COVID and the post-COVID season, but every season. The mid-pandemic season, the mid-wildfire season, the mid-summer season, I really want it to be fall soon season. I'm going to jump down a little bit into verse 6. But how different it is for the righteous. The Lord embraces their paths as they move forward, while the way of the wicked leads only to doom. The Lord embraces their paths. And this was so beautiful to me as well, because like I was saying, the projects that I was working on, the companies I was building have come to a completion. They come to their finale. And this is the first time in a long time I've woken up and thought, I don't know what I'm going to work on today. And it's been frightening and beautiful and challenging. You know, the Lord embraces their paths. The first thing that was really encouraging to me is it's a plurality of paths, not a singular path. I feel like I often find myself, and I hear a lot of Christians talk about, like, I'm just waiting for God's timing. I'm just waiting to have peace with this decision. And there's a lot of actual truth and wisdom in that I don't want to degrade. But I found it challenging to just make sure that I wasn't over spiritualizing something because I was procrastinating or because I was fearful. And it's not that there's one right path. Actually, through the freedom and the resurrection of Jesus, we have more right paths than we have wrong paths. In fact, in Romans it says there is no wrong. There's no wrong path. See, there's everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. And so there's so much freedom in this. And the other thing is that I found remarkable is that the Lord embraces their paths as they move forward. It doesn't accept, it doesn't tolerate, it says embrace. And in fact, to me, this was really incredible because we always feel like God's waiting for us to make the next step, and he is. And it's not just in salvation, because God does everything beforehand. He, you know, in software engineering, there's this concept of abstracting, and you know, computers are all ones and zeros, but no software developer almost in the world knows the ones and zeros aspect, because everything is layered upon to make it simpler for the next person and simpler for the next person. And that's why some people write really simple code, or you can drag and drop in your iPad to learn to code, because there's layers of abstraction, but you still have to make a decision at the end of the day. But God does everything beforehand for us. And so whether it's about our salvation, which requires a next step, or when God says, you know, I'm going to embrace the paths you take. If you're pursuing me, I'm going to embrace the paths you take, and he'll direct us and navigate us. But he took care of all the steps. He took care of all the steps so we can just focus on that singular next step. And so if you're like me and, you know, you felt like it's been a lot of trying to endure, I just really want to challenge you to live in and to step into that promise that's laid out in Psalms 1, that you should experience the brooks of bliss in every season.
Thanks for joining for this week's Voices and Stories episode. Don't forget, for the rest of the month of August, on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m., we have a brand new episode of our Voices and Stories series, where we've been hearing voices from across our church, across this region, which has been really amazing to hear what people have to share and what God has been speaking to them in this season, or just how they've come into relationship with Jesus and what that story was like. People's stories are an amazing way to see the face of God in the reality that's amongst us. This is a gathering Sunday, a social gathering Sunday, so we'd love for you to prioritize that. As you may know, there are some restrictions that will affect us in our gatherings moving forward, but for now, they don't. And today is a great day to gather together with people across our church and to have community and fellowship and meals and laughter and friendship together. Watch out for the details as they come up of what's going to be happening near and soon. I know we had been planning for September 12th to be starting services, and we just don't have the final details of that yet, but I want to let you know that we are working on them, and that is in the process. We love you, church, and we hope to see you soon.